there. To our Seattle Kraken, and they're wrapping up training camp and the preseason. Tomorrow is the beginning of the third year in franchise history. It's going to be a big opening match. Nope. Opening game. We're not talking about soccer right now. And we'll get to these last three preseason games before we get into tomorrow's season opener. Seattle opened up these last week of the preseason, hosting the Edmonton Oilers at home, losing that one 1-4. Our player of the game, forward Kyler Yamamoto scoring against his former team, 1 goal, 1 point, 3 shots, and 2 block shots. In the second game of this, second game the past week in the preseason, headed up to Abbotsford to play the Canucks, not in Vancouver. They played them in the city of their AHL affiliate, the Abbotsford. I think they're the Abbotsford Canucks. I followed enough of Abbotsford Canucks. Thank you. They would win that one 2-1 thanks to a goal in the third period by forward Ellie Tolvanen. 1 goal, 1 point, a 1+- and 3 shots on the night. So nice to get that win there. Solid effort. And then in the game on the 6th against the Oilers. I tried to combine Edmonton and the word Oilers. In October 6th at the Edmonton Oilers was a 1-3 loss. Our player of the game forward Jared Canner, 1 goal, 1 point, a 1+-, 3 shots, and 2 takeaways. So that would wrap up the preseason. I try not to take so much into account when it comes to the preseason scores. It's certain aspects are obviously what you're looking for in the preseason. We talked about that before all over. What we're looking at with the preseason as well is also the opening night roster. So we'll get to that here. Have the roster opened up. But the roster moves. So on the 5th, the team assigned forward Luke Henman, Ville Pittman, defenseman Pietro Sepala, and goaltender Alice Descott to the Coachella Valley Firebirds in the AHL, their affiliate. On the same day, they placed the following players on waivers with the intent to send them down to the Firebirds: in defenseman Connor Carrick, forward Cameron Hughes, forward Cole Lind, forward Max McCormick, defenseman Gustavo Lavson, forward Andrew Podorowski, defenseman Mitch Reinke and Jimmy Schultz, and forwards Evan Shore and Marian Studenek. All of those players, all of those players would clear waivers and head down to Coachella Valley. On the 7th, defenseman Riker Evans and forward Shane Wright would head down to Coachella Valley. I'll stop there. Both of these players were guys that many, whether it be media or the fan base, thought would make the roster for the Kraken for opening night. I understand why they didn't, and Coach Hackstall, as well as General Manager Ron Francis, talked to the media about it towards the end of training camp. I believe it was on the 7th they talked about it. They want both of these guys essentially to get real minutes at this point of the season. They would rather them, like in Shane Wright's case, would you rather him get fourth line minutes, get maybe 8 minutes a night, or opposed to the AHL, which he hasn't played in yet? It's not like they're sending him back to the OHL. They're sending him to the AHL to go down there and play against, essentially NHL ready talent on a consistent basis with players that he'll likely play with at some point here anyway. And with Riker Evans, he had a really solid camp. But considering you're paying Brian Dumoulin what you are, they're not going to bring him up yet. And why would you have him sit here as the 8th defenseman when he can be actually getting real minutes and continuing his growth and development? It makes sense. They're going to be the freaks who are like, oh, Shane Wright this. He's 19 years old. Seattle already has enough depth as it is. They're going to be fine without him, and he's going to be fine continuing to grow, and he will help this team when they need him to. And that may be at some point throughout the course of the year. We saw the Kraken have to bring up Jesper Froden, John Hayden, Max McCormick. Was it Max McCormick this year? He might have been at some point this year. Yeah. The Kraken had to bring up defensemen anyway. Gustav Olofsson was here for, I think, 1 game. So you're going with injuries and such. You're going to eventually call up one of these AHL guys. So who knows? We probably see Riker Evans at some point this year. We probably see Shane Wright at some point this year. I don't know. A lot of that frustration is just with people who freak out about Shane Wright. I think they're silly. On the same day, on the 7th, the team placed goaltender Chris Drieger, defenseman Cale Fleury, and forward John Hayden, all on waivers with the intent to send them down to AHL with the Firebirds, and all of them did clear waivers. Some people were worried about those because, I mean, all three of those players. Sorry about that. All three of those players are really solid. A lot of people thought Chris Drieger might be claimed, but they're all going to go down to Coachella Valley again with injuries and such like that. And the way that the NHL season plays out over the course of 82 games, we will probably see multiple Firebirds players come up at some point in time. Just saying. So that leaves us with the opening night roster of. We'll go with goalies, defensemen, and forwards. So we show our goalies and defensemen some love. Obviously, Philip Grubauer will take the starting job in the between the pipes for the Kraken, and he's going to be backed up by Joey Daccord. Daccord, really solid AHL season last year. He looked solid in his stints with Seattle towards the end of the year when Martin Jones was dealing with injury, or more than that. And he had a great postseason with the Firebirds as well, as they would fall just short of the Calder Cup. Defenseman, and just to finish off with the court, he looked like the better of the two between him and Chris Drieger as the course of training camp went on. I really didn't think it was much of a debate. Even a few days in, I'm sorry, it just didn't seem like it. Defenseman wise, Will Borgen, Brian Dumoulin, Vince Dunn, Adam Larson, Jacob Megna, Jamie Alexiak, and Justin Schultz round out your defenseman pairings. We'll go. It's Vince Dunn, Adam Larson, Jamie Alexiak, Will Borgen. I want to make sure I get this right. Muscle memory says yes, but I want to make sure I'm doing that right, so I don't just say things at you. Yeah, defenseman pairings: Vince Dunn, Adam Larson, Jamie Alexiak, Will Borgen. I had it right. Brian Dumoulin, and then Justin Schultz, with Jacob Megna being your seventh defenseman. Then the forwards. The forward lines are fun because these top two lines are excellent. All four of these lines are excellent. You've got Jared McCann, Matty Beniers, Jordan Eberle, Jaden Schwartz, Alex Wenberg, Andre Burakovsky, Eli Tolvanen, Yanni Gord, and Oliver Bjorkstrand, Brandon Tanev, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, Kyler Yamamoto, and Ty Cartier, with Cartier and Yamamoto likely splitting time this season as that fourth line member, like the Kraken did with Daniel Sprong, Ryan Donato, and such throughout the course of the year, and Morgan Geekie. Those are fun. I mean, that McCann, Beniers, Eberle line has proven what they can do on the offensive side of things. Great generation, great production. Schwartz, Wenberg, Burakovsky, you get Berkey back. You know, you get a full season of him. Who, if you played those two playoff series with Andre Burakovsky, they likely both don't go to 7 games because you likely win them quicker than that. And then the Tolvanen Gord Bjorkstrand line is so fun. I mean, you look the heavy shot of Tolvanen and what he does defensively, what Yanni Gord brings as a whole. I don't even need to talk about what Yanni Gord brings. And then Oliver Bjorkstrand getting this offseason to really be settled in Seattle, I think will be big for him. You know, he dealt with a lot the past offseason when he was acquired by the Kraken, whether it was being traded, settling in, stuff with his family, you know, to be able to be settled and bring that into this season and just be ready to go, worry about hockey only, I think will be big for him personally, I think. So, and he got kind of snake bitten in the first half of the season anyway, as he was hitting the post a bunch and stuff like that. So that's your 2023 Seattle Kraken. They are carrying 22 players instead of 23 that you'll notice. General Manager Ron Francis did note that this was to have that cap space flexibility in case they were to pick someone up off of waivers or they were to make a trade before the deadline. So that's what they'll likely roll with. It's a cap situation. Folks have talked about this around the NHL with going with 22 players instead of all 23. So that's what that was. A lot of people were like, who are they going to add? Are they going to bring back Martin Jones? It wouldn't make sense to bring back Martin Jones. So keep that talk away from me, please. Anyway, so I'm excited about Kraken season, as you can tell. We'll move over here to next up. Obviously, the Kraken have no record at this point in time. They are not standing anywhere in the division. Opening night is tomorrow to complete a 3-game opening night session. October 10th at the Las Vegas Golden Knights with a puck drop of 7:30 Pacific time. That is likely going to be later because of the fact that the Golden Knights have a banner to raise with winning the Stanley Cup. Like my friend Maya says, I don't know who won the 2023 Stanley Cup. I don't know. Vegas erasure. That is a season opener that will be on ESPN October 12th at the Nashville Predators. Is a 5 p.m. start that will be on ESPN Plus. I believe it's also on the normal route. I think we get back to route after that. Let me double check this. Oh goodness. Sorry, I want to make sure. Yep. Then we get back to route. Yep. So October 12th at the Nashville Predators is a 5 p.m. puck drop. It is on route as well as on ESPN Plus too. ESPN Plus as well, not two. And then closing out the week before they come home for their Tuesday, October 17th home opener against the Colorado Avalanche. The Kraken will head out to St. Louis to play the Blues on October 14th with a puck drop of 5 p.m. Pacific time. So we'll let you take a break here. Catch your breath. Maybe me catch my breath as I've been talking so much. Whew.